Hello there. Someone's happy to see you. Anyway, Slaanesh. Yes, always happy to see Slaanesh against the Dark Elves. Very interesting matchup. Definitely very thematic, I feel. But, yeah, we've got Rakarth here and, yeah, a bunch of kind of militia infantry, I guess, all bleak swords. Not really too many spears, a couple of spears. A lot of Black Ark Corsair handbows, which is a nice pick against Slaanesh. Get great skirmish value, decent melee combatants, just good all around in this matchup. Slaanesh's Harvesters, which confusingly are like running away from Slaanesh or something. Dark Riders with shields. Yes, very fun stuff. We've got the Marauder Horsemen of Slaanesh for some skirmish, and then the Fiends, obligatory, 3 of them. Azazel and Demonettes, lots of Demonettes. 5 of them in total, so it's a Demon-a-palooza here, just about in time for the spooky holiday. Had quite a... honestly, Warhammer is a very Halloween game, to be honest. There's a lot of, a lot of different costume opportunities, to be honest, for your local Halloween party, but let's not get too caught up in that as we watch these Fiends and Demonettes engage here into a little breath attack from Rakarth up on his dragon. Going to drop on the Fiends also in that engagement. Slaanesh's Harvesters jump on this left side here, and they're going to drop all the things. Well, not really, actually. Not like a Soul Stealer or anything yet from the Slaanesh's Harvesters. Sorceress of Death here. Lots of handbow fire coming in, though, as those little crossbow bolts fly in. Multi-shot, doing some decent damage, but we're going to see a devastating flanker charge from the Marauder Horsemen with only 24 charge bonus. That devastating flanker actually makes them pretty decent light cavalry on the charge there. You can see helping to break, especially those Dark Riders, but even the handbows there are getting broken. It's a very quick game between these two armies, probably, I would imagine. Well, maybe not, we'll see. So far, pretty even, actually, as the Slaanesh rush on the left side gets crumped hard by the right of the Dark Elves here, and likewise on the right side of their own formation, Slaanesh is able to clean up. But yeah, Rakarth got plenty to work with here as these handbows continue to try and disengage, but the rush definitely is coming for them. And you can see, yeah, I believe it's Olaf the Moose here. There's the opponent for Pigman, who is playing Slaanesh. He's trying to get his Corsair handbows back and away. And yeah, let's see. It's looking like, yeah, they're pretty good. I'm trying to like get close to see line of sight. It's a little bit tricky with the Murderous Prowess popping off, which of course going to buff their missile damage, but Corsair handbows, because they are kind of like basically like gun infantry almost, not quite, but they don't really have the same arc necessarily as a lot of other bow type units, right? So, ooh, nice little lash there. Disrupts that unit that we were watching, but I was just getting in close to see, like, what does their line of sight look like? What does their scatter shot look like? Sometimes it can be a little bit hard to tell, especially on these desert maps at a distance, where exactly those shots are landing. But right now, it's looking pretty even in this center fight. Beast Lord's Gaze, all the buffs up on Rakarth. He's got plenty of extra bonus versus large, which is not applicable against Azazel because he's an infantry-sized target. But Azazel, yeah, definitely no pushover. He's quite small. He's got the support of the Fiends here, which I don't know if Rakarth's actually going to be able to take off here with the Fiends involved. He does a little side charge into those Demonettes there, but yeah, all of a sudden, looking around, like, all the Dark Elf stuff is just kind of gone. So it doesn't take long. Yeah, like I said, it'll be a quick one. Most likely here for Slaanesh to take out the win. But with the build style as it is, definitely want that to happen. I don't know, though. Maybe could turn it around if you can get a couple of quick strikes on Azazel here. Maybe start that demonic instability cascading across multiple units. A little rear charge here from these spears, getting in on the Fiends. So do they do much? Not really. The Fiends' animations is one thing that's pretty underrated. Makes them a little bit hard to hit, honestly, if you look on a micro scale, like, because they kind of flop around and move around a lot, just in general. They sometimes units can struggle to hit them, but yeah, Pigman's able to clean up a pretty quick win there, all things considered, against Olaf. I mean, again, the build kind of lends itself to that, so don't you worry. We'll do a little bit of post-analysis to make sure we get some video length for you guys, but yeah, pretty good stuff from the Fiends. I mean, obviously, you do expect, if you bring enough of them, not all of them are going to land and pay for themselves, but That's why you bring enough of them, right? It's that whole quantity, density argument. Yeah, critical mass, sometimes people say in various contexts. But amassing a critical mass of whatever your killing power is very important because, especially against a quality opponent, they're going to target whatever that killing power is. And like if we think about Olaf's build here, the handbows, while they will get rushed down by the fiends, also will do a lot of damage to them if they're able to get good firing arcs. So that's one of the reasons why I was kind of zooming in to watch the handbows to see where they were firing, because that's a big part of it, right? And the positioning for the fiends, for the Slaanesh player, making sure they keep them on the move. Obviously way faster than these infantry, so that was a pretty key for Pigman to try and keep his win condition alive, right? So, yeah, just talking a little bit further about that concept. Yeah, again, the volume of it, taking enough things, and this is often critical mass, especially in other RTS games, you'll often heard in reference to missile units in particular, because, you know, in theory, if you amass enough of a missile presence, let's say that your opponent can't even really approach with melee units, right, because they just get absolutely blasted, and there's a lot of factions that can definitely do that. But the problem with doing that in Total War is that, especially with ultra unit sizes, a lot of the times you can't actually kill the units fast enough before they can get to you. Now this is in 2v2s or in larger funds games, right? You can potentially skew things more in missile factions' favor, actually, in my opinion. The more funds you put in, just because you can actually get to that critical mass, whereas in a regular land battle, it's balanced pretty well to where sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Depends a lot on the matchup, the map, and different various factors, but the point being, besides the missile part of it, is just that whatever your killing power is, you need to have enough of it that you can withstand some damage to that phase of your army. So if I were to take, let's just take this army, for example, here, that I think I put this together for a recent Empire video. Very Lord Snipey. Some people are really not going to enjoy this playstyle, but it's one you need to be aware of. But again, if I'm thinking about this, I've got multiple sources of Lord Sniping, but is it going to be enough? Like, if someone comes in with the right tools to shut down the Luminarch really quickly, is Elspeth going to be enough by herself to potentially take out the characters that I need her to, or the single entities, or whatever else? Especially given I've just got Free Company here, which are not really going to provide a great amount of missile damage against really high armor single entities, especially. But just in general, I mean, lower armor single entities, if they can get the range on them, and they're relatively short range, definitely have the volume of fire to get some extra damage done. So they kind of sort of have a soft contribution to that as well. But again, this is why sometimes you might see people invest very heavily in a certain phase. But again, you don't want to overinvest, especially with something like character or single entity sniping, right? Like, what if someone comes in with like a tank lord or a tank caster lord, even somebody like Vlad, who can potentially sustain a lot of damage. It is very hard to kill, and maybe they don't have any other single entities, and now what do I do with all this single entity sniping power, right? Again, so it's one of the awesome things about Total War Warhammer is the dynamic nature of it. That's, you know, you really have to consider these different things, and there's so many different ways to think about and approach building your army. But definitely, you know, whatever the killing power is, you need to make sure you have enough of it that you can sustain some damage, not so much that you're going to overinvest and not be able to support them properly. So, in the case of Slaanesh in this particular replay, again, the Fiends, you're limited to 3 anyway, so I mean, that's kind of what you need. But the fact that, like, one of them dies without paying for themselves, the other 2 are able to pay for themselves, again, that's kind of to be expected in a lot of battles. So I guess that's my whole thesis for today. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you like this sort of content, yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, everything. I'm so tongue-tied now. Anyway, just goodbye. Have a good one.